All right, let's talk about a simple hack, a 10-minute habit that can totally change what happens in your body after you eat. It's a tiny decision, but it has a massive impact, and it all starts the second you put down your fork. So let's dive in.
And this sounds dramatic, but it's not just a metaphor. It's literally what's happening inside you right now, especially if you've eaten recently. There's this silent battle going on, and believe it or not, the outcome hangs on one very simple choice.
Now this choice, it's not what you think. It's not about skipping dessert or cutting out carbs completely. No, it's way simpler than that. It all boils down to one question. After you finish your meal, are you going to move or are you going to sit? And that answer, it has some pretty profound consequences for your health.
So to really get why this one choice is such a big deal, we need to kind of zoom in and go to the front lines of this post-meal battle and see what's actually going on inside our bodies.
Okay, so picture this. You eat some carbs, rice, bread, maybe a great plate of pasta. Your body gets to work and breaks all that down into glucose, which is basically just sugar. And then, within about 30 minutes, that glucose starts to flood into your bloodstream, ready to be used as fuel.
And we're not talking about a small trickle here. After a meal with a lot of carbs, your blood sugar can just skyrocket. It can go from a normal baseline of, say, 90 all the way up to 180. I mean, it literally doubles. And that sharp, fast rise, well, that's what we call a glucose spike.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. So what? It goes up, it comes down, big deal. But it turns out the science shows that these rapid roller coasters of blood sugar are, well, they're not harmless at all. They actually trigger this whole cascade of hidden damage right down at the cellular level.
The official name for this damage is oxidative stress. A good way to think about it is like a kind of biological friction. Every single time your blood sugar shoots up and then crashes back down, it grinds away at your cells. And over time, that repeated strain causes real physical harm all through your body. I love this analogy. Imagine tiny little bits of rust forming on the inside of your blood vessels. That's a really powerful way to picture what oxidative stress is doing. And here's the crucial part. This is not just a problem for people with diabetes. This microscopic rusting process, it happens to everyone who gets these big glucose spikes.
And the long-term consequences, they're pretty serious. We're talking research that directly links these post-meal spikes to a higher risk of heart disease, that afternoon brain fog we all hate, memory decline, and even future cognitive problems. So it's pretty clear, right? Winning this little battle after you eat isn't just about feeling better today. It's about protecting your health for the long run.
But okay, that's the bad news. Here's the good news. Your body is incredibly smart. It actually has a built-in defense system to handle this glucose flood. It's just often overlooked. Think of it as your own personal secret weapon.
So we all know about pathway 1, right? The insulin system. Your pancreas releases insulin, it acts like a key, it lets glucose into your cells. Standard stuff. But now, look at pathway 2. This is the backup system we hardly ever use. When your muscles contract, they switch on this protein called GLUT4. And GLUT4, it just yanks glucose right out of the blood. No insulin needed. It's a totally separate system. And here's how ridiculously simple it is. The moment you start walking, your muscles contract. Boom. That contraction is the signal for thousands of these little, you can call them GLUT4 doors, to just fly open on your muscle cells. And as soon as they're open, they start pulling all that extra glucose out of your bloodstream to use as fuel. It's a direct, mechanical thing. So cool.
Okay, so we know how it works in theory, but how effective is it really? And does it matter when you do it? Well, a pretty surprising study came out with a stunning answer. So researchers tested 3 different scenarios. First, sitting still after a meal. No surprise there, a massive glucose spike. But here's where it gets really interesting. They looked at a 30-minute walk that started 30 minutes after the meal. And yeah, it helped. But then, look at that middle bar. A short 10-minute walk taken immediately after eating produced the lowest spike of all. I mean, it was way, way more effective.
And the takeaway from this is an absolute game changer. When it comes to stopping a glucose spike, timing is more important than duration. Let me say that again. When you walk matters more than how long you walk.
So why is that? Well, this timeline lays it out perfectly. In those first 10 minutes after a meal, the glucose is just starting to rush into your blood. If you're sitting on the couch, your muscles are just sitting there too. But if you start walking right away, you activate those GLUT4 doors just as the flood begins. You're basically catching it right at the source, stopping the spike before it even gets a chance to peak.
And the best part? The benefits don't just stop when you stop walking. Your muscles actually stay more sensitive to insulin for hours.
Okay, this science is fascinating, right? But honestly, the best part is just how simple it is to put into practice. So let's break this down into an action plan that you can literally start using after your very next meal.
All right, the plan couldn't be simpler. After every main meal, just walk for 10 minutes. That is it. You don't need a gym, you don't need special shoes, nothing. Walk around your living room, pace on your balcony, stroll down the street while you're on a phone call. The only goal is to get your muscles contracting. We're talking about removing every single barrier to make this super easy to do.
And if you make this a regular habit, wow, the long-term payoff is huge. You're not just stopping one spike, you are fundamentally rewiring your metabolic health. You'll actually increase the number of energy factories inside your muscles. You'll improve how your whole body responds to insulin. You can even lower key health markers like your HbA1c, which is a big deal. It all adds up to less risk for major diseases and honestly, just more energy every single day.
So it all comes back to that one simple choice, doesn't it? Your body already has the tools it needs to win this battle. It's waiting for your signal. So, after your next meal, that clock starts ticking. Are you going to sit or are you going to walk for 10 minutes? The choice and all those amazing benefits we just talked about, they're completely up to you.